Calling all beings, y'all. Let's get it.
Put your hands together. Put your hands together.
Yeah! Can I get a amen for calling all beings? Yes! Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Calling All Beings True Crime Unsolved. I am your host, DJ, and boy, do we have an esteemed panel tonight. I'm here to tell you about it. And let me say, before I really get going here, I want to say something. For me, it really is an honor to have been accepted by the Massachusetts Karen Reed community, of which all these people represent, and I've got great respect for all of them as content creators and persons alike. I did go to college in Massachusetts. I was not born and raised there, and just the fact that they've embraced me and welcomed me into their group is huge. So with that, we about to get into it with Karen Reed Roundtable number dos or 2. But dos is how, Sean was talking down there in Colombia all those years. So without further ado, let's get into the first one. So this first gentleman, so when you're feeling down about this topic and you're suffering losses, as we did the other day, with Judge Bev's ruling against basically dismissing those 2 charges, counts 1 and 3 of the charges against Karen, and you kind of are bummed out about that. You look to this man right here. It's a group of townies basically that is doing this to her, and it can be very, very disappointing at times, although, as he said today, it's expected. There's nothing that he didn't expect. So you only need to look at this man for inspiration and a renewed sense of purpose in this mission of justice for John and Karen. He is none other than the man, Mark Mazza Media.
All right. Thank you, DJ. Great to be here. Thank you. Inspiration indeed. It's all about pumping people up and getting everybody fired up and being fired up and just always having passion and being very excited to fight for Karen Reed at all costs, DJ. That is for sure, sir.
Every time I watch you on anyone's show, not only your own show, that is how I feel.
Yeah.
And so I thank you, and it is a pleasure and an honor to finally meet you, because I've been waiting a couple of months to meet you. So I'm geeking out a little bit. Okay.
Good. That's awesome, man. It's great to be on your show. I love your intro, and I like the whole alien theme you got going on and all that. So it's awesome stuff. So
yes, we are 3 years as a group. Myself, Nathan, Deb, and Courtney. We are 3 years a UFO, Bigfoot, and paranormal show, and we dived into true crime just prior and did an investigation that ended about when I found out about Karen Reed and just became enamored with all of you.
Yeah.
All right.
Here. Sports guy turned Karen Reed following fanatic. So that's how it happens.
And I'm a sports fanatic, and I'm a music fanatic as well. So
there we go.
Which Miss Shorty and I shared some Pearl Jam, actually some Eddie Vedder the other day. All right, so let's go to our next person here. So, okay, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to intro Lilly, the true crime kangaroo, who is a wonderful, wonderful human who contacted me after the last roundtable, and we had a little one-on-one talking about a collab. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do another roundtable. Why don't you come on? And then the next thing you know, she introduced us to Miss Shorty, who we're going to intro here in a second. But Lilly is not feeling well tonight. I believe she is in the chat. You can expect to see her on a future episode, either here or on her show, where we get together and chat. Our next guest, I noticed, joined us in the chat at least once or twice. And then after speaking with Lilly, she said to me, that we should have Miss Shorty on, who is a celebrated content creator in her own right. Both she and Lilly have what at least I describe as an encyclopedic knowledge of this case. So without further ado, party people, put those hands together for Australia's own Miss Shorty!
Hi. Hi, Mazza.
Go, Miss Shorty. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Excellent.
Honor to have you, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. After hearing, she knows a lot more about this case than I do. I learn every time I listen to these folks. Let's see. Okay, so another blessing we have in the community that has an interest to see justice for both Karen Reed and John O'Keefe is this next gentleman who is himself a retired sergeant from the Canton Police Department and has provided a wealth of information to both myself and the community. I feel like I'm honored now to be able to call him friend. So party people, put your hands together for Peter Murphy!
All right, let's. Thank you.
Welcome, Sergeant Murphy.
Glad to be here with everybody tonight. Looking forward.
Good to have you, brother. All right, so our next guest, this is her second time on the round table, and in fact, she alluded to that the other day. I was like, man, I don't want to put up on her asking her to use all her time to come back on the show. She's been doing a lot of content lately, but I'm glad she's here. She had a landslide victory in our coolest Massachusetts accent contest that we had last time, as stated by attorney Mark Betterow. She is such a natural talent as a content creator. She has this show with Dave Cullinane, who's in the chat. I hope to get to meet Dave at some point. They had been broadcasting on TikTok, and this explains why she's so damn polished and so good as a content creator. And she's about to take over this media. So party people, put those hands together for Nurse Kim!
All right.
My gosh, DJ, hands down, are you the best introducer? You got me feeling like I'm going into WrestleMania every time I speak with you.
I got an amen for you, Nurse Kim. Amen.
Woo! Thank you so much for having me. And I wanted to just say, Mazza Media, after all this time, Brother Mazza, Sister Kim is here. Let's go.
All right, let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah,
all right.
And we have three paisans here, right? Myself, Kim, and Mazza, right? San Marco, come on, man.
Hey.
Paisan. All right. All right. So last and certainly not least, this gentleman right here, the great white shark. Picture Jaws chasing after that poor woman water skiing. But it's not a woman. It's actually Brian Albert out there on the Cape. And he's behind some jet ski. And then here comes the great white. Dun, 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 dun. And he just keeps coming. And Brian looking behind him, and he's still there. He's still there. And he could go faster. But he looks back. Sean is still there. He can't. He can't carry. He's accelerating. So with the landslide victory that Nurse Kim had in coolest Massachusetts accent, we decided to bring in a ringer tonight, someone who has an amazing Massachusetts accent in his own right, to challenge Nurse Kim. I mean, that is part of the reason why he's here. Not just for breaking news, which he's going to do tonight, because he done blew us away backstage a couple of minutes ago with something. But it's also, a guy that has just provided so much leadership and has been able to really attack the McAlberts in a way that, in some ways, only he can. So with all that said, put your hands together for the King MoFo. You know what I'm talking about? The great white shark, the supervisory DEA agent, Mr. Sean McDonough. Can I get an amen for Sean?
Amen. Amen,
Thank
John.
you, DJ, Mazza, Miss Shorty, Peter, Nurse Kim, and the chat. Most of we were together today at 3 o'clock. It was a beautiful afternoon. I'm so humbled and just taken back by all the support we're getting. It's such a great panel. And DJ, thank you so much for having us all together and being a part of this special movement. It's truly a movement. Miss Shorty, Mazza, of course, Nurse Kim, and Peter. It's just amazing. Truly is. And I know we're making a difference. And that's all that matters. So thank you to all of yous and the chat.
Yes.
Hey, one love to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. Hey, thank you so much. Somebody just donated like a 19.99. It is Kylo Bear. Amazing
Kylo.
group of mofos. Let me get this up there.
Let me tell you
Let me
something. Kylo Bear. Can I just give this guy something? Kylo, my first show, right? My first show there, DJ. He
Yes.
gifted 300 memberships.
It was amazing.
Oh my God.
Just
Kylo
absolutely,
Bear.
the guy is absolutely incredible. And you know, I got to have him on the show. I have to. So,
Kylo Bear, thank you so much because it is difficult. This is the first couple of months that we've ever monetized in the history of our show. Sean's doing it now because it does cost money to put these things on and to ask people to give of their time. And thank you so much. That is very nice of you to do that for Sean, and we're honored to have you as well. Caveman, what's up? Sounding like Bigfoot.
Caveman. Caveman's the man too. Look at the
And the Pilgrim,
shot. Yeah.
the Pilgrim Shadow. Thank you so much. Good evening. My canine is patrolling the perimeter for any Alberts or McCabe's that are lurking. Eyes in the sky, paws on the ground.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That is awesome. So, hey, what do we got to say? I think Nurse Kim, did you have Chloe as your background the other day?
I did. Today I have my famous Punch a Proctor. We do that. That's a TikTok thing, though. So we're trying to keep it YouTube. But I have Chloe. Sometimes she's on the Cape, sometimes she's down in West Dennis, and other times she's driving a truck, okay? And she sees a plow coming. We don't know. But Chloe's a very good girl.
I almost peed in my pants when I saw Chloe laying on the beach with a cell phone. I was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna need a diaper, like some sort of an adult diaper after this. It was so funny.
Whoever made that, I know that this is like not appropriate, but whoever made that artwork, for some reason I'd like them to be in my living room. I love the Chloe artwork, so please reach out to me.
Yeah, it's an AI image. Yeah, it was awesome when that came out. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
Just because you're, I want to say something, Chloe. Just because you're a disposable wee pad to the Alberts, we love you wherever you are, and I hope you're still alive. All right. Okay. All right. Let's get going with the round table here. The King MoFo is going to kick it off for us. MoFo Junior Mofos. And what we're going to do is we're going to go in a circular pattern. Everybody is going to present a topic, a question, or a hypothesis for discussion for the group. I would like to exercise conciseness and brevity so that we can turn this into an absolute free-for-all after we get through the roundtable. Like I told Sean earlier, it's like we're playing dodgeball against the McAlberts. So just picture that, okay? And Sean wants to go up and just bean Brian in the head when he runs close to the line to grab that ball that's about to go over. And just, boing, and all of a sudden he's,
Right.
So, all right. So with that, let's get going, and then we'll get to everybody that's in the chat. We'll do a roundtable portion that's fairly structured, absolute free for all, followed by questions from you in the chat. Thank you so much, everybody, for the blessings. Okay, Sean. Without further ado, go ahead, sir.
Okay, so mine is going to be a hypothetical situation. Okay, and Peter, you'll love this.
Okay.
So hypothetically, if real cops had showed up on January 29th at 6:04 in the morning, and when they heard the statements made by one of the witnesses on the scene saying, "It's my fault, I did this," or I hit him, okay? Hypothetically speaking, had the real police did their job and detained Karen immediately, took her off the scene, took her to the station, and seized her vehicle, how different would this case be today if they did their job?
Now, first of all, the way this works is it goes to Kim first, then
Sorry.
Peter, then Miss Shorty, then Mazza.
Okay.
She's
Please.
coming up quick
Yes.
here. So yes, how different would that have been? Completely different. We would not be here had what we believe the correct policy and procedures of policing were enforced on January 29th, 2022. Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Okay, you now you give your take on what Sean said.
Okay.
And Sean, if you need to reiterate that, please do.
No,
Should,
I got it. I have it. We've bantered this around quite a bit, Sean and I. Obviously, if real police officers showed up there inadvertently didn't know whose house that was, or perhaps they even did, as Kim just said, we would not be having this conversation now. This case would have been over a long, long time ago. It would have been over by 9 o'clock that morning before Lank made his second appearance, going in to have coffee on the couch with the family.
Yeah, I'm no question. And if anybody wants to know an example of real police that are honest, and there are many, the overwhelming of majority of them are like that are out there. But two examples are at the bottom left and right of your screen right now. Miss Shorty.
I mean, what more can we say on this one? Sean sort of pinned it pretty well there. It would have been completely different, an absolute polar opposite end of the spectrum in terms of what we got versus what we should have and could have got with the investigation, the evidence collection, the interviewing of all the, well, they would have been witnesses / suspects, but they turned out to just be like, I don't know what, a talking table. Did they have a round table? Here we are. We're just replicating what they did, sharing our thoughts. They shared all their thoughts, and the investigation suffered from the get because of it.
Mazza Media, sir.
I just hope that none of these police officers in Canton ever worked for DoorDash or Grubhub or any places like that, because God forbid any customer that ordered through their service through McDonald's or Wendy's or Burger King and the tamper evidence sticker was on that. It might be left open for them to steal their French fries, because let's be honest, it's absolutely insane that you see the taillight and the AI image behind Nurse Kim there. It's absolutely insane that evidence was placed in a Stop and Shop bag and sitting in Sallyport with no seal on it whatsoever, not placed in proper evidence bags, placed in a Stop and Shop bag, unsealed, no tamper evident labels on it, nothing like that. It's just sitting there for people to peruse in and modify for a couple of days unattended to, no telling who was in there, who wasn't in there. It's a whole different scenario if the cops did their job. And obviously they did everything they could to make sure that even if they couldn't incriminate Karen, that no one could really incriminate them, because it's a really compromised crime scene, because it wasn't properly, the crime scene was released way too soon. And additionally, it was a total disaster, and obviously done on purpose.
I'll toast to that, guys. There it is. Evidence came off because it's a wet cup with water in it, but you know where I'm coming.
Oh yeah. Put it right in this cup
DJ,
right here.
I just want to add, an addendum to what I was getting at. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Sure.
had they done their job just on the statements alone, they had arrestable. I'll put it like, they had arrestable, but let's give her the benefit of the doubt. They had a detaining type situation. They could detain her, and they could have seized her car right then and there. Had they seized the car, they would have only had a crack on the taillight. None of that red plastic would have ever been on that lawn. Look how much that case would have turned. All right. There'd been no evidence against her. They were going at it as a domestic assault up through 10:30. So this case took on a whole different meaning when the framers got together and had their family and friend meeting, and they just let her go. They let her take the car because they had the plan, and they just needed time, distance, right? And enough of a plan to get that car back and get the evidence. Had they get that car at 6:45 in the morning, seized it, brought it back to Canton, cracked taillight, no red pieces.
That's right.
On the lawn.
That's right, Sean. If they did it that way, they would have lost their opportunity, which they garnished as the day went on.
Exactly. They would have had zero evidence, nothing.
And when Sean says framers, by the way, he doesn't mean Alexander Hamilton and James Madison. Just so that you know, he's talking about Tully and Proctor and those guys. Just to be clear.
Good clarification.
Always good to be clear.
And even a police lieutenant across the street who magically all of a sudden didn't have any interesting ring camera video, which is shocking. Yep. So Peter said on our last show that he thinks he could have gotten a warrant in potentially as fast as 30 to 45 minutes, could have been longer. So I guess because Lily's not here, I'm going to ask a question to Sean and then send this around the table. What do you think? Man, now I forgot what my question is. I'm going to have to let me go to Nurse Kim and I'll try to reconjure what I had because it was related to your question. So go ahead, Nurse Kim, and then I'll try to go after you.
Sure. So I just wanted to ask these incredible panelists, my Mr. Peter Murphy, who I adore, Sean, my friend, my life, Miss Shorty, who has been such an incredible support and a strong woman voice in this entire case. I admire everything about you. And Mazza Media, I can't. Okay, I can't. I think you're kidding.
All right.
And DJ, okay, sorry, I'm gushing, but I wanted to ask because we're all such invested creatures, right? We're invested beings, calling all beings. Okay. I'm sure that we've all gone back and watched testimony since the trial has ended. I wanted to ask you guys specifically, has there been one piece of testimony that when you went back to look at it, you said, oh my gosh, I missed that. And it has completely just, shattered your brain, Phil?
Is there a pun intended on that, Nurse Kim? The shattered?
Yeah. 25 pieces now,
Okay.
Mazza. Yeah?
Exact.
Is that to Peter?
Yeah, that would go to Peter, right? Whoever's next to Kim. Just look and just picture this table's round. It's our round table's rectangular.
Okay. I have reviewed quite a bit of the testimony, and I'm trying to think of something right now. I'm suffering from data overload on all the stuff that I missed the first time that went through. Trying to think. Most recently, I looked at, I guess it was Higgins' testimony, and I'm trying to think what I missed the first time that came out glaring on the second one. I guess it was something to do with the time frame. I believe I detected some variation, evolvement in his testimony about the time that he disappeared from, and who was in the kitchen when he left because they didn't have Hennessy or his favorite bourbon or whatever it is he drank, and he disappeared. And there's a big time lapse. And it seemed to come together as to why, in my mind, why he might have disappeared, as to whether he went to the station or not, and whether he was doing something else that maybe shows up in some sort of not a geofence, but the phone calls that were made and log history of who he might have called sometime after he got in his Jeep at sometime around whatever time it was, 12:30.
Thank you.
Me?
Yes, ma'am. Miss Shorty.
Yes. Okay.
Ma'am.
So, to be honest, I was so very deeply invested and entrenched in this trial that I watched every day of trial twice. So I watched it from my in the future, but behind time zone difference in Australia. From about 3:30, I used to watch the whole day of trial at like 1.5x speed with one commentator, and then like a law tuber, and then I'd watch it all again on 1.75x speed with another legal commentator, and then I would watch the nightly recap, and then I'd watch the panel shows. So I got to say, I didn't miss anything, and I didn't come back to it because I saw it all ad nauseum. However, if I was going to say the if I had to pick just one little thing that came to mind right now that didn't blow my mind in retrospect, but at the time it was that moment when the IT guy from the library was handed the disc by Lally, and like he was already kind of looking a little bit smirky and like about Lally, and then when Lally handed him the disc and he's like, "This isn't my disc."
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's an underrated moment and a glorious moment, and Lally like going away. Yeah.
So good, Miss Shorty.
That is an underrated moment. That's exactly what you said, because that whole library footage that they had to scrub, and this kind of feeds into my question that I forgot earlier, but I was able to jot it down in between these answers. So my question for Sean is this: when do you think the decision was made not to take a photo, since you alluded to it, not to take a photo of her vehicle either at the scene or at Dighton? How do you think, was that something from the Canton PD, that someone in that hierarchy, or was that someone at the either Trooper Proctor when he had the case fell to him? I forget how you guys say that, but yeah.
So the part that seals the theory that I have that they made this decision after they sat down. Okay, so initially we know this, that Karen was not with her vehicle on the scene at the time. Okay, and the working theory in the very early mornings was that she hit John. Okay, she hit him, physically hit him, and we know from Yuri Buchanan and the hospital administrators that he was still working the case as a domestic assault. The girlfriend hit the quote unquote decedent with a cocktail glass or a water glass. Okay. Now we know that Brian Albert is a very shrewd and smart person. He's got a criminal mind. He knew when they all went back in, right after Lank and company left, and Jen McCabe starts saying, well, you know, they think that it's an assault and battery by Karen to John. And he goes, ain't no way. No one's going to believe that. Okay. So right. when they all think about this, all right, why did they all leave Brian's house to conduct the interviews all down at Jen's house? It didn't make any sense. None at all. All right. They had to actually brainstorming. They had to pass the police department to get to Jen's house. Okay. And I believe in those hours, the actual plan was, okay, if she's making these statements, I hit him. Well, then we need to get the car and we need to get that evidence, because they knew Canton found nothing. Canton found nothing. They knew that. And it was a shit plan to begin with, but that's the best plan they had. And so that decision was made between the hours of, say, 10 o'clock, like 11:15, after Brian started thinking. And then they had all those hours from 11:15 to 4:15 to get it all in motion. How did Tully know enough to instruct O'Hara where they should look for the pieces of red taillight after 2 feet of snow have fallen and 12 hours later of an unsecured crime scene? And that's the answer to the question to you, DJ.
Thank you, and that makes sense. You know, I'm trying to figure out, you know, how it all came together. Were the initial arriving officers thinking, how are we going to not pin this on Brian? So, Nurse Kim, what's your take on how you see those communications might have gone?
I'm so sorry. One more time.
So essentially, ma'am, it's the communications that would have happened after the officers arrived, and you can choose to tackle the communications between officers in Canton. You could choose to tackle what you believe the communications were between Proctor when he got hold of it at whatever time that was, or the McAlbert families.
Okay, so actually, okay, all right, I'm going to tackle it this way.
Any way you want.
I would like to say that I think that it is underrated or under-discussed that Lank went in that house all by himself. Sergeant Good was never in that house, and although his reports say that he went in that house and that he had a partner with him, it is very clear, as evidenced by Jennifer McCabe's testimony, Coco's testimony, even Brian Albert, he fixed it. He fixed it like I fixed my face, but he fixed it, saying that, well, Lank came in first, and then he was like, oh no, but then Sergeant Good came in right behind him, or something like in that effect. But Coco was the one who told us that it was just Lank in the house. Now, what does that mean? That means that when everybody's in there, when they're doing their roundtable
Storyboard.
and they're doing their storyboard, and they are commiserating of, what are we all going to say, and getting it all together. And I believe that Jennifer McCabe was the ringleader of that cover-up squad. And she just, she was doing her darn thing. Do I think that she had anything to do with, actually hurting anyone? Absolutely not. But I think that she needed to be the sweep it up kind of gal that she is, and to make sure that the narrative has her family walking out and smelling like roses. But I think that it is highly telling that the communication between those officers, right, was, although Lank went in, a family friend, an old family friend, goes back with Kevin, Kevin and Chris Albert, they go back. There's issues with public acts with the Lapalato brothers and costing the town of Canton $300,000 in a lawsuit. Thank you, Rita Lombardi, for that info.
Rita.
Yes, Rita tells it. But it just goes back so far, and it shows that right then that Good was willing to say, I went in the house when he didn't. What else? Right? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting how this all came together. But yeah, Jen being the ringleader and trying to put that together, it just shows what a devious mind. But what Sean brought up, just for everybody out there, and if you're sort of Team McAlbert and you're in the chat right now, you can't explain how you don't document the condition of the vehicle as it's found, it's particularly when that's your hypothesis of the crime. The only reason you could do that is to make sure you couldn't document it so that it couldn't be proven later on there was nothing wrong with it. And everybody should take stock in that. There's a reason why people don't just do things. You don't just get rid of your phone. You don't just sell your home. You don't just rehome your dog. You don't take your phone to a military base and smash the SIM card, maybe with a pair of Leatherman pliers, and throw it in the dumpster. All these things are done for a reason. And we can only come up with one reason. I know none of us are that smart, but we can only come up with one reason. Anyway, sorry, Mr. Murphy, if you want to take that one around real quick, sir.
I have a couple of possible ifs, ands, or buts on that thought. I think the feds have it all. Sean and I have talked at length about this. I think the feds have it all. I think I don't think they lack for anything right now. And I'm going to be surprised if, when this all comes out, probably sooner than later, that there weren't a lot of phone calls made sometime after most of the younger adults left, which I guess was sometime around 1:30, I guess, according to testimony. And I think that the plan and everything started to fall into place, and I think calls were made then, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's real surprises as to who was notified and when, and perhaps somebody that ended up showing up in a Ford Edge around 3 o'clock or 2:30 that maybe went out for bread and milk. I just think there's a lot of I think there's a lot to be had in the phone data, which is going to bring a lot of this speculation that we all have to the forefront.
Yeah, who else doesn't go out for bread and milk when you're drunk at 3 a.m? I always do that.
Every day. I just did it this morning. I mean, my goodness.
Standard operating procedure. I just want to make sure Nurse Kim doesn't try to ham up her Massachusetts accent to beat Sean. You have a legitimate competitor here tonight. I just want to let you know that. Okay?
He wins. Listen. He wins. All right?
Dorchester.
Winner.
I believe Miss Shorty's name is Miss Shorty. Not Shorty. Miss Shorty. Miss Shorty.
The competition, it is on. It is on tonight. All right. Miss Shorty, communications.
Miss Shorty.
Miss Shorty. Communication between.
You don't put R's in there. You only put R's when there's no R's, like Brender. Right? Brender.
Pizza.
You take
I'm
the
learning.
R's out when there's an R. Shorty. Right, Mazza?
Learning, Mr. Dorchester. All right, I'm learning.
That's why you say Dorchester. You don't say Dorchester. You say Dorchester.
Rochester.
Oh, Worcester.
Rochester guy.
All right, I'm sorry.
I'm going this healthy guy.
You're a loser. Yeah, we're Sam Nagel. You're a loser guy. That turtle boy. I'll tell you what. Sam Nagel.
We're going to go to Doggins for St. Patty's Day breakfast. The Doggins. It's
Dog?
called Dorgans, but we say Doggins.
I'm going to Donkey's guy,
Lanka.
And if we didn't say Lanka, I love when he says Lanka. I want to say it for anyone out there, because I think we said it last show. And there's my guy, Bigfoot influencers, Tim saying Worcester.
Worcester. There you go, Worcester. And you know something? You know what's funny?
Mm-hmm.
The people from Worcester say Worcester. Whist. I don't know.
Worcester?
That's our region of the state says it, Sean. Yeah, we call it Worcester. Yeah,
Worcester.
Right?
You know that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I'd have known that when
Gonna
I
go
went
to
and saw
Spags
Motley
down
Crue
Route
at
9 in Worcester.
the
Worcester.
Worcester Centrum,
Yeah.
where I went to see Motley Crue when I was at Dean. Sean's, yes, I see that Sean's audio is low. I cannot increase his audio. Sean, you can just turn your mic volume up a couple of potatoes or something. That's what they want to hear you.
Sputter too.
So Miss Shorty,
They want to hear his
nice and
accent.
calm. Is that any better?
Miss Shorty, you sound good to me. I can hear you loud and clear.
I'm like really just doing a little woosa after my big show this afternoon. Is that any better?
Yeah, I hear you just like you guys were hearing El Chapo when you were listening on the recordings.
We were listening to El Chapo when he wasn't El Chapo. He was like a little peasant from Mexico.
Low-level chump. Or what's the other guy from Colombia? Who's the Colombian guy you guys busted? What was his name?
Pablo Escobar?
Yeah, Pablo Escobar.
Well,
Pablo Escobar.
He met his demise, though. We didn't arrest him.
Well, one way or the other. DJ's a lot louder. A lot. Okay, I will turn my audio down. Thank you very much. Miss Shorty, communications between, let's call them interested parties. Is that fair? Testing. How's this? Someone check me on the mic volume that's in the chat. How does this mic volume sound? Wista. Good? Bad? Indifferent? Okay, just let me know. Please go ahead, Miss Shorty.
I think that I would like to know more about Kerry Roberts and what she was what JJ McCabe was instructing her on, for how long, and how much that influenced her remembering of that morning and those events and her opinion of Karen Reid. I think she's peripheral, but she was also at closing argument. So she's not that peripheral, right?
Yep, that would be an interesting one here, because it seems like some of the let's call them the ancillary parties that were there are probably scared to death to say anything. Mazza Media, who, by the way, whoever stole his thing on the Cash App or on Venmo, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, seriously.
You should seriously message Venmo about that, because they're going to try to get donations that are meant for you.
Yeah, exactly. So we always try to make sure the audience is aware that it's it has my name in front of it, not the Mazza Media. So I was trying to set it up a couple weeks ago. I'm like, what is this? There's already one going on. I think there are a few other Mazza Medias out there that do exist, but I don't know. Something tells me that they probably weren't operating one of those. So that was interesting to find that. Yeah. So.
Yep, we got to message them. But anyway, What's your take on communications between the interested folks?
Sure. There was something like at foot, as attorney Mark Betterow likes to say, something was certainly at foot that particular night. These people were way too active in their communications throughout that entire night, from 2:27 a.m. Google searches of how long to die in cold, which actually happened. Cellbrite confirms it, regardless of whatever the Commonwealth witness wants to say about it. That search did happen. Cellbrite didn't put it there themselves. When they run their data, that data was accessible in their system and on their records for a reason, because someone had, in fact, searched 2:27 a.m. At 2:27 a.m., how long to die in cold. There were way too many phone calls going on between these folks and communication exchanges. On top of that, you have so many deleted messages on top of that, and it's absolutely insane what was going on that particular night. This is why it's hard to fathom that there wasn't something going on, because they were way too the communication was way too high. All these calls that were made to John O'Keefe's phone, to me, sound simply as, we can't find his phone. Where is his phone? Well, let's try to call the thing a couple of times and kind of make it seem like, oh, we were just looking to see where he was or whatever. It just doesn't make any sense to me why anybody would even think that there's nothing suspicious going on, because it is fairly obvious that they're just way too active that particular. Now you get people up till 4 a.m. All this stuff is going on. The fact that even when Karen was driven by 34 Fairview with Kerry and Jen, it's Karen that ends up noticing the body. And Alan Jackson even asked questions of that during cross-examination of Jennifer McCabe. If you had driven by and Karen hadn't pointed out that there was a body on the front of the lawn, you wouldn't have stopped. That was one of the things that he said. Oh, and another thing about communication. It is possible to have a 15-second phone call and get quite a bit of information out there. It's as simple as saying, you can say directions, anything like that, in a matter of 15 seconds. It doesn't take that long at all to communicate a sufficient amount of information in a small window of time. So whoever says that that's not possible, just look at, I think it was Higgins or Albert, I think it was Brian Higgins' attorney, who said, I'll talk to my client, I'll only need about 10 seconds.
I mean, Mazza, don't you go and delete a bunch of, delete a bunch of calls and Google searches after a night of drinking? Isn't that what you're doing in the middle of the night? That's what I do, especially if there's been a major crime committed. I'm like, you know what? Let me just go delete a bunch of stuff just because I'm bored, and let me look at the soccer scores for my daughter's soccer league.
Right, exactly. I always say there's only 2 people on the face of this earth that would be Googling basketball at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm one of those 2. So that's the only thing I'll say is typically
Bettero's the other. Bettero's the other one. And I want to talk Celtics with Bettero. I want to talk about with Bettero. I want to ask him the greatest Celtics player that people don't talk about, and I want to try to figure out with him who that might be.
Because I have Sam Jones and JoJo
talk
White.
About Sam Jones. He's in the Hall of Fame.
I know, but they don't talk about him enough. They don't give him enough credit.
That's fair. That's fair.
Snatch Sanders was a great power forward for the Celtics in the 60s.
How about DJ?
DJ, absolutely.
DJ is a great one. Yep. So, but we're gonna have to. But we can't have this without Bettero. He'll be upset. So we're gonna have to wait till we get Bettero. But I want to. First of all, the Glare, Cameron, who else here? Caveman. Thank you for these super chats. We're gonna get to every one of them, but we just got to get through the panel first. So, Nurse Kim, are you next, or is it Sergeant Peter Murphy?
Mr. Murphy.
Sergeant, I'm working on it, Kim. I'm trying to get there, girlfriend.
Hey, Murph. Come on.
Hey, what?
Come on, Murph.
What's your topic, Murphy?
Murph.
Come on, you want my topic?
Yeah.
I think this. Well, actually, I came up with 2 of them. So I overdid my homework.
Overachiever.
I'm an overachiever.
You can only do one
right,
to start off with just one.
Start it. You got to start it up.
Right. It's good to have 2, just in case someone uses yours, Peter. I have 2 listed myself. So.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for that. I guess I'll run with one of them.
Please.
So, my question would be, when, where, and how did Chloe get evacuated, and by whom?
Oh, this is a great one, Miss Shorty.
Oh, Caitlin Albert, with Tristan. Yeah, the end.
Your knowledge is so good, man. You're so on point. Okay, Mazza, who did the Kazovac, or the exfil, as we'd say in AFSOC? Who did the exfil on Chloe to get her out of there, exfiltrated?
I think Miss Shorty is very spot on. Now, there could be a few other possibilities. However, the highest probability is that Chloe was removed from that house prior to any significant, duration of the evening, because the dog obviously was involved. It definitely, I mean, if you can guarantee at least one being, if we're using that term tonight, DJ, being on your show, if there's one being that was definitely involved without question, it's Chloe the dog, right? I mean, let's be honest. So that dog would have had to have been out of there by a certain amount of time. And it makes sense that the dog basically left, earlier, before, by the time authorities got there later in the day. Well, Oh no, that dog was gone. That dog left earlier. Chloe was maybe here till like, I don't know, 8 o'clock. I don't know. That's what they wanted to kind of go for, right? To say that they had to get Chloe out of there, right? I mean, it's a good idea in a sense to get anybody that was probably involved out of that house,
Sure.
by a certain amount of time, if we're being honest here. Because I mean, geez, I know if someone had like, beat the crap out of John inside the house and practically killed him, I'd probably want to get that person out of the house as soon as possible.
Yeah, Sean, my dog also, she normally goes out 3 a.m. Like, she doesn't really sleep. Like, she tends to go out and party pretty late. So how do you think the exfil happened? Do you think like one of the 160th SOAR, an MH47 or an MH60 came in and picked up Chloe? They dropped down the basket, and picked her up, airlifted her out of Canton.
Well, we think about logically, right? We know the dog was there in the evening when they all came in, right? Now, when that morning, we know the dog was definitely not there by Jen McCabe.
Someone called her Jen McCabe in the I just want you to know that.
Right.
Jen McCabe, someone coined her in the last roundtable, and that was brilliant.
Yeah.
So
Brings me back to Elvira.
I would have to say 2 things. All right. I'm definitely leaning towards the fact that Caitlin took that dog, all right, with Tristan. I got to remember, if Tristan was only direct about a few questions. Most of the questions, I don't know. I don't know what time it was, but I believe he definitively said, he was asked, did you take the dog back? And he definitively said no. Okay. I believe. However, there is also a possibility, I hate to say this, that Brian probably did a little snap of the neck and killed that dog. And I hate to say that, but I would lean towards the obvious, because what's her name is saying, Nicole's saying it was up in Vermont. So I'm leaning towards Caitlin and Trishan getting the dog. That would make sense. That would make sense.
So not the Night Stalkers from Fort Campbell.
I don't believe so. No.
Okay. Because if
Fort
someone
Bragg.
would have
Fort
seen
Bragg?
a black,
Oh yeah, it's Fort Campbell.
no,
now,
Fort
right?
Campbell for the night.
I was
If
there.
you guys
Listen,
watch Black Hawk Down, anybody who's seen Black Hawk
I'm
Down,
telling you,
those
I
are the
was-
Night Stalkers.
I was there at Fort Bragg the night before they changed the name, and everyone was there for the induction, induction thing. I stayed there that night when I was coming back from Canton. My last dinner was at the hillside with a couple
Fort
of
Liberty
good buddies
now,
of mine.
I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was nice.
Just to
We don't
jump
need
in.
Confederate general names on there. Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Just real quick, just to jump in here. So
Yes, sir.
I would say this about all the witnesses, is that Tristan was the only witness that I felt that when he said, I don't recall or I don't remember, that I felt that he was telling the truth. That's all I wanted to say. So,
He's the one guy? That was the guy. We've been looking for someone that didn't recall or remember, and we found one person out of what are the 68 witnesses? That's great.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
So I did give a little tea today in my afternoon crowd about Trishan's real biological mother.
Oh, you can't just tease that, Sean, and not
Okay, I'm gonna have
come
to
with
give
it before Miss Shorty
to
goes.
the masses.
Yeah.
We found out today that Trishan's biological mother she's still alive, was a stripper back in the day down the combat zone at Centerfolds.
Oh, so she's beautiful.
I would say doesn't make her a bad person.
Doesn't make her a
Yes.
bad person,
just wanna-
but
yeah.
the problem is now is that I understand Jay, he goes by Jay, but his real name is Howard Morris, and the wife that basically raised Tristan are getting divorced. That's what I'm hearing. So, listen,
Wow.
I said to my crew today we had a roll call of about 400 people. We had a roll call, right, Peter? Peter was in the roll call, right? And I basically said, guys, this is the deal. You kill a cop and you frame an innocent woman, expect the laundry to come out. And it's coming out. And that's it.
Yeah, these two guys you see on the bottom of your screen here on your left and your right. I know y'all think that, they done been there and they done that. and they're not going to just forget about it, and it's just going to you're just going to walk away from this, because they're going to keep uncovering people, and somebody's going to talk to them. People have already talked to Peter and Sean, and eventually you're going to get caught. I know you think you're not, but you will. You will.
Yeah, her name was
there's
Cara
Chloe.
Cara Mullen is the biological mother's name. And we don't know if she belongs to the famous Mullen gang that ran ragged, I don't know, up in down in Southie, up in Southie. I don't know where the Christ I'm at. I think I'm in Boston all the time.
Yeah.
No, that ran crazy back in the day. So anyways, but the bottom line is this. You kill a cop and you frame an innocent woman, you better expect to have the whole wrath of fury amongst you, on top of you. And that's going to be my marching orders from this day forward.
No, absolutely. And you declared a continuing war on Brian Albert the other day on your show.
Absolutely. No doubt.
Yeah, which is a beautiful thing. Okay, so and again, everybody, thank you for all these brilliant comments in the chat. We're going to get to, at the end, we're going to get to all the super chats, and then as many, because there are so many brilliant comments here, and thank you very much for all those. But now we have to go with a topic by Miss Shorty as I work on my accent.
Shorty.
Yes. So obviously we've just had some not surprising but pretty devastating news from Auntie Bev, the Honourable Judge Canoni, with regards to denying the motion to dismiss. And people have been, throughout this whole trial, and even obviously through pre-trial motions and hearings, being quite vocal about her apparent ostensible bias. But I remember when I was watching the trial, and I had watched pre-trial motions, the first thing that really stood out to me that she was meddling in things and making things difficult for everybody, but seemingly mostly the defense, was when she insisted that even though pre-trial she had them all mark all their evidence pre-marked numerically, and then when it got to trial, on day 2 or day 3 or day 4, she decided she wanted them to mark it numerically as it was coming in. So they had to shift and change. And that to me was a huge red flag that she was making things harder for everybody. So I guess I wanted to know what other noteworthy things from the round table that stood out to them. Smaller things, but, cumulatively, that's pretty huge.
Yes.
It was a headache.
Mazza.
All right, yeah. I mean, she was meddling throughout this whole thing. Honestly, I've never felt favorable about her at all. And obviously, this past week, just yesterday, wasn't even the icing on the cake. I mean, at this point, the icing on the cake is about 57 layers at this particular point. Let's be honest. She is absolutely meddled from start to finish, limiting certain things, not allowing certain things to be a part of the trial, such as third-party culprit, which I thought should have definitely been in play in this particular case. But, this all really reached the boiling point when it came time for jury deliberations. And immediately, the defense had something that they needed to bring to the judge's attention, and they brought it into the courtroom, and immediately it turned into an absolute dogfight, no pun intended. And that's all it became. And you saw this judge being absolutely impatient, rude, even snapped at Karen Reed, who couldn't help herself but sit there. And Karen Reed was laughing, and she was within her right to laugh, because she was laughing at an absolute charade that was playing right before our eyes, that this is so ridiculous.
Are you frozen? We lost Mazza. He's back.
Here he is.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Last night, I was on the Young Jerks with Bianca MMM, and she had that jury slip, the verdict slip. And it's pretty difficult to read. I still think I can figure out what they're trying to go for, but at the same time, why are counts 1, 2, and 3 labeled 2, 3, and 4? Why does this just say not guilty? But it doesn't say not guilty on all counts, all the below accounts. It doesn't specify that. It's extremely difficult. So this judge tried to justify that this was the way we do things in Massachusetts. And David Unetti immediately stood up and said, well, come on, that's not the way we do things in Massachusetts here. This judge gives every outside observer, everyone on the defense team, and Karen, her whole family, every reason to question her and not trust her whatsoever, because she's just not someone that can basically be trusted as an impartial judge. And it's just absolutely at this point, just more sickening now than ever. And like I said, the layers of icing on this cake are just continuing to stack. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me. I just want to comment real quickly. I became aware, calling all beings true crime unsolved. Our group of 4 was during our first investigation, which was a missing woman in Pennsylvania, which is going to take us probably another month or 2 to put that produced podcast together with interviews, etc. When I became aware of the Karen Reed trial and started consuming all of you that are on the screen right now. And I contacted a friend of me from my hometown, because I feel like I'm a townie as well, like Judge Bev is, but I'm a townie that thinks whose mind travels outside of my own town and doesn't just put everything in the context that if you're not from the town, we're against you. And my first impression, I contacted one of my hometown friends who's been a legal law clerk for 35 years. And I said, Jill, I really feel like this judge is biased. I really feel like she does not like the defense. And a lot of people now have said, I don't know if someone said the other night, it's actually Alan Jackson that she doesn't like because he's not from there. He's not from Canton. Mm-hmm. He's not from Mass. Like that somehow makes you less of a human and less competent in your job. So, yeah, I've always thought that she was biased. And unfortunately, I hope she would prove me wrong. And she proved me right. Sometimes you want to be wrong, right, Miss Shorty? Yeah, you're hoping, okay, she's going to have an epiphany of some sort, and she's going to follow, what justice is. There are people that have said we got to bring these people in. Even the lawyer, Peter, said last night that that's what she should have done. Any of you who have seen Peter, I don't know if his name is Tragos, the lawyer,
Tragos,
So, yes. So, Sean, please go ahead, sir, with that one. Judge Bev, bias, etc.
Yeah, I definitely echo Miss Shorty and Mazza. Now, let's face it. She had it in for that defense team from day one. I mean, I'm going back to the motion hearings. She particularly had disdain for both Jackson and Liza Little. And, they couldn't catch a break. Anytime they wanted something like telephone data, thank God the FBI has the telephone data. But, just the disdain she had for that team. And like Mazza said, he took my only comment. It was going to be how she went at Karen. So you think this is funny, Miss? Show some restraint, Bev. I mean, come on. But one thing that did surprise me, and I was extremely, I was encouraged by that, but it was short-lived, is when she went back to her chambers and had to discuss, had to think about, well, is she going to let the dirty videos and statements of Colin Albert in? And she did. She allowed all those videos, which was, I got to tell you, Alan Jackson must have had a field day. He says, I'm going to let this out. Pull up, bitch. I'm going to fuck you up. And I got to say, it was one of the greatest cross-examinations of a fucking punk, of a punk. He's
watch
a punk.
Watch your leg. I don't want to get tagged.
I'm
here.
sorry. No,
Watch your language.
Pull up.
Please.
I'm sorry, buddy. But he said,
just say, go silent. Just say, I'm enough.
Yeah,
PG.
Let me put my little.
Thank you. Yes, self-edit.
I'm
gonna fuck you up, motherfucker.
Yeah.
But the fact that he said that she came back and allowed that, I was so encouraged. So there was at least one good thing that happened but it was short-lived, and then she definitely blew it. Matter of fact, if you remember when she read the jury's last note, she didn't even look at the defense. She immediately said, "And I'm not going to do this to you people. All right, you guys are dismissed." She's saying that the defense didn't even say anything about polling the jury. She dismissed them summarily right then and there. That's bull, So, anyways,
what does Melanie say? I alone get to decide. It's my discretion.
That's right.
When I'm going to use Sean's accent, a narcissist. And I want to tell you this competition is not looking good right now for you, Nurse Kim. I just want to get that out
I
there.
haven't talked that much. That's why.
Okay, there you go. All right, there you go.
Ooh.
All right, it's you. Go ahead,
Ooh, I feel
girlfriend.
like-
Go
I
ahead.
feel like Dave
I-
Cullen
Get her up
right
to
now.
mention
The
it.
stage is
Yeah,
yours. The stage is yours.
I'm just joking. So
I'm
listen,
getting spanked here.
no, listen, you get all the respect. You won. I already told you. I'm just
No,
saying.
no.
I'm
No, the
just kidding.
competition's still on. We don't want to
Yeah.
poison
Just kidding.
the jury
I'm just
pool.
kidding.
Go ahead.
Well, so I have two things. First, I thought it was unfair because we had no idea what her objections were, right? So
Right.
someone would just say object and she would either sustain or not but I felt like Lally would have had, in my humble opinion, he wouldn't have been able to say correct objections, right? So he was just objecting on occasion prior to even Alan Jackson or Yannetti getting out their questions, right? And she, in my humble opinion, Bev handheld with Adam Lally the entire trial. My second thing was I thought it was incredibly unfair for her to rule that the witnesses were allowed to talk about about alleged harassment and intimidation when it is an ongoing case and alleged, right? So like this hasn't been, Turtle Boy has been convicted of nothing. He is accused of witness intimidation. They were allowed to bring this up in trial when asked by, the defense, because allegedly they opened their own door, but they didn't, but neither here nor there. But there was a huge confusion for the jurors as it related to the federal investigation. And when they had to say in another proceeding not related to this grand jury, I feel like it was just a huge disservice because those jurors had no idea and they believed that the ARCA, that Crash Daddies were from an insurance company, babes.
Right.
They had no frigging clue. So Turtle Boy gets this exclusive. He talks to he talks to a juror, has this incredible interview. Questions 25, 26, and 27 are basically stating where this juror says, I would have never thought it like any way, shape, or form that it could have been the FBI or a federal investigation.
Right.
And that I get why she couldn't, you know what I mean? Or I get they need to be able to tailor that better because there needs to be an understanding of who ARC is and that they work for a federal agency, in my humble opinion.
We need to get those stats, Kim, and see how many objections were sustained. And I think you have to be above 90%. But if anybody has that data, it's got to be above 90% that those objections were sustained. And it seemed like 1 of every 10 she might allow something that Jackson would ask or Yannetti. She wasn't as difficult with Attorney Little, but she really was with Jackson and wouldn't let him get into a groove, wouldn't let him to build any momentum and break down those witnesses in a way that Sergio, who I hope to be able to get on this show, Sergio, I can't recall his last name, the federal guy who does interrogations and stuff, the intel guy. Is it Donato? Can't remember his name. But anyway.
But one
yes, sir.
minute. But didn't she jumped Lally. Lally didn't even object, and she said, sustained.
Yeah.
Do you want to object to that?
sustained.
Yeah. Do you want to
Yes.
object to that? Yeah.
Right.
I know. It's so obvious and so transparent what's going on that there is nothing that is opaque here. We see exactly what you guys are doing, and it's so obvious. Please, Peter. Well, actually, this is Miss Shorty's question. So basically, did you see bias? What's your opinion of Judge Bev and her rulings, etc.? Sir.
I absolutely, and I'd echo what everybody else has said. And there were several times that what you just said a minute ago, DJ, that it seemed like either of the two defense attorneys were on a roll. They were building momentum. It looked like they had the whoever it was under cross up against the ropes. And all of a sudden, guess what? Sidebar, BA, right? Sidebar.
Yeah,
Sidebar.
thank you, Peter. We're getting the spirit, baby.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right. But
Yes.
and then there was controversy about the squeaky chair. Like the chair started to squeak like, okay, Mr. Lally, it's time to object. There was so many rumors going around the courtroom on the half dozen times or whatever it was I sat in there that you really, really could get a read on what the climate was.
Yeah, I can't say enough about her. Mazza Media, would you please present your topic, sir?
Sure. Just one comment about Peter's remark.
Yeah,
Mr.
sure.
Lally, would you like to object to that?
Right.
That was insane.
Exactly.
It was insane.
That was insane. Absolutely.
I
All
swear,
right.
on a
Okay.
side note, I swear she had a red button and she pushed it for the fire department to come by.
Right. Seriously. There's like a little button under her desk, like at banks, you know, just sets it off. Because the couple of first days of that trial, people were telling me that were out there. They said like they would just drive by every single time the defense was getting ready to cross-examine. It would just take place every single time out. It's just nuts.
It was.
All right. My topic is going to be, to me, I truly feel that there's many ways that if you look at one piece of what went down, that you could prove Karen Reed's innocence. For me, I always say my personal one is John O'Keefe's arm wounds. When you look at his arm, there's no doubt about it that there are those are dog bites and claw marks on his arm. And the Commonwealth want to say that was shattered taillight that caused that. And Eliza Little even asked about how could smooth taillight create a goring effect, which basically means that your taillight would have had to have basically been as sharp as Hellraiser's face to, you know, pinheads or whatever his name was, Pinhead, you know, to basically cause those kind of punctures. His arm was punctured, and we know that dog teeth are sharp. We know that claws are sharp. So basically my question is, if it isn't taillight and if it isn't dog wounds, then is there any way possible to explain what happened to his arm? So basically, in theory, you know, just tell us, you know, my question on the table is basically just tell us how this could not be anything but a dog that was involved in that.
So this question, thank you very much. I love this topic because I don't see a physical way, and the ARCA guys may actually try to recreate this with a dummy that has skin, where they could try to hit it with a like vehicle at 24 miles an hour and see what happens. But before we get to that, I just want to say to Julie, if you would, Julie, star some of these if you can. The SUV had teeth. Somebody put in here. This is great. I'm sorry. There's so many great questions here, Jules. Can you star some of them? We're going to try to. We'd love to get to every single one. We're going to get to the super chats and the ones that you star, if you would, at the end of the show. But please, Special Agent McDonough, what do you make of that about the injuries on the arm? Are they consistent with being hit by the taillight, which you've done some independent research down there in Florida
Right.
on?
So, you know, beyond the research that I did, it was his arm. The photos on that chalk that they showed at court that day was the defining moment for me early on that said, no, there's no way. And if you all remember back in the early days, there was a gentleman by the name of Justin Ambrosino, and he did a video. He did a couple of videos. He did the one where Karen was making a 3-point turn. He would have been on the opposite side. They couldn't hit him the way they're saying. But he took a rack of ribs and started slamming a taillight. He must have hit it at least a good 10, 12 times before any damage happened to the taillight. Now, we know the taillight, the car backing into an arm. There is absolutely no way an arm could ever get enough force against a 6,000-pound vehicle, 6,800-pound vehicle, even at any speed, to crack it enough to scratch their arm. But see, and I started thinking about this. That was the only option. Take that back. That's the only viable option of a theory they could go with to put out, because they had to attack something. If they didn't say he was hit in the arm, they couldn't explain the arm injury. If they said he was hit in the body, well, he had no injuries to the body.
To the body.
Right? Can't hit him in the head because he was going at 24 miles an hour and they backed into his head. His head would be very damaged. Listen, the bottom line is he was never hit by the car. And the taillight project I made, well, we proved that the taillight was still intact. But like the gentleman down the street here said, Sean, you have polycarbonate taillight, you have double shell. So the outer shell, right, protects the inner shell, which has all the housing of the wires and the LEDs. He says, Sean, and I'm going to tell you, quote unquote, he said they smashed the shit out of that taillight.
With a hard object.
Oh, hell
With a
yeah.
hard object.
I
Yeah,
mean,
very
yes, no doubt.
an object that had no give.
Yeah.
And
no
the
doubt.
problem for them is the human body has give.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
That's-
it's
On a
physics.
hinge. Yeah.
An object in motion tends to stay in motion.
In
That
motion,
6,800 pound car would have toppled John. I mean, the pirouette.
Yeah.
He would have been down right then and there. And I said the other night, Sean
That's right.
McCabe said, and his theory was, oh, she ran him over and he got his cuts under in the carriage because nobody knew the true results of the medical examiners, the autopsy, right? The autopsy. He had nothing, no broken bone, no nothing. Everything was above the neck. I've seen, Peter, have you seen car accidents? I've seen car accidents. I think we've probably all seen them on the side of the road. They're vicious. John was beat. He was not in a car accident, and that's it. And we know that the federal government put all their money, all the chips was on Karen. And they spent $500,000 to that ARCA company to show that she did not hit John with that car. And that's it. It's over. They'll never convict her, ever.
In order to make him move the distances that they said, you would have had to hit him center mass.
Center mass.
Dr.
Center mass.
Rentschler explained it as the way that you would
Right.
as, like a football player, you would have to hit the person where the hips are to
And
drive
DJ,
them.
you
so,
know this. You know this, and Peter knows this. Where do you shoot when you're going to shoot someone?
Two
Center
to
of
the
mass.
chest, one to the head. Yeah.
Yeah, center of mass, right? Preferably, right?
Mhm.
But if you hit an arm, the guy's not going down. You hit him in the chest area, right? There's a reason for that. But that's where all the organs are. But that's going to be the stopping power. Hit an arm, you're still moving.
Yeah.
So listen, this was such an idiotic
It's so
thing that they
stupid,
did
and
to make
people
us go
believe
through
it.
9 weeks. Seriously, 9 weeks, 10 weeks of this. Where Mike Breen knows that. He knows it. Michael Breen knows that. So
We did a whole episode on critical thinking. That people lack critical thinking skills, and something that used to be called. There was a time in the English lexicon when we referred to something as common sense, and we've discovered that, oh my God, it's not common. So that's why people are in that situation. I think Nurse Kim, is it your turn to hit up that, or did we go all the way around?
I think we went all the way around.
No,
we went all the way around.
No,
No,
okay.
Sean was first. Kim's too. Yeah.
Yep. So I think just as a registered nurse, his injuries were the reason that I got involved in the case, and it brought my eyes that I just said absolutely. I had questions from that moment. But what I found very interesting about Crash Daddy's testimony was that the area of the housing was 6 inches for Karen's taillight. And Officer O'Keefe had injuries from his upper brachial to his mid forearm, over 12 inches of diameter. There is no way mathematically that a 6-inch impact could have resulted even with an explosion as was described by Trooper Paul.
Sure.
And the explosion, him going with the vehicle for an additional 5 seconds, and then, the 45 pieces of tragedy. It could not happen for your basic science principles, correct? So, excuse me, that was for me the best part of the testimony, to recognize the discrepancy in size and injuries. And the only other factor was that, like we've said many times, guys, our arms are on hinges. There is no way, as Sean, as Peter Murphy and DJ, as the military, that being hit in your arm, that it wasn't going to happen that way. It's not feasible, and it was never a theory that should have been developed further by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, in my opinion.
Yeah, and to injure the arm, they would have had to for him to travel the distance, they would have had to hit the body, and that's where we have the bruises, and where we have the lack of bruising and broken bones. It wouldn't have just been the arm, and obviously it looks like a damn dog bite. People, don't be stupid.
Stop it.
Don't talk
Right.
to us like we're stupid.
I
because-
also would like to. I'm so sorry, guys. I
Please,
just
ma'am.
thought of
Go
this,
ahead, ma'am.
but there is
Please.
no range in the depth of injuries. Okay, and when you are looking, there should have been ones that were down to, because if it was an initial impact that actually did explode the taillight, you would have had a deeper puncture wound, correct? From where the initial injury occurred, and then it diffuses out, going, for lighter marks would have gone up the arm. Those marks were so uniform that would, as a wound, nationally wound certified RN, can I say it's a dog mark? I can't say it because I don't do dog marks. I only do human injuries, pressure, trauma, etc. However, seeing those are the uniform linear patterns in which they presented on Officer O'Keefe's arm would give you the impression that this was by one object multiple times. Okay. Right. And it's going from that, perhaps a bite pattern or a claw pattern, right, could have provided and presented in that way on the skin. It would never have been from a blunt force trauma and then projectile to other areas on that extremity. Sorry.
Now, I just brought it up on my phone. I was going to send it to myself so I could display it on screen. Are you saying like that whole thing, like where there's scratches and a dog's nails just happen to be side by side and then they go like that? So that wouldn't be like a tail light that would have like scratched his arm?
Correct.
Is that in your... Really?
My medical opinion was that the tail light does not have teeth.
Yeah.
If it does not fit, you must have quit.
Yeah.
There you go.
This is, I know, it's so absurd. People actually believe that. People go, oh, that looks like a taillight. It's like, dude, have you ever been bitten by a dog? Have you ever had a bad day and had some dog run after you before you could get on your bicycle? Anyway.
DJ, have we gone around yet? Have we gone full circle in the comments?
I think you and Miss Shorty have not. So
right,
please
okay.
go ahead. I digress.
Shorty, if you're up, go ahead.
Oh, no, you can
No,
go.
it's you, Peter.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can contribute that I have spoken to 2 professional canine trainers that work for police departments and have been in that position for a long, long time. One of them, I guess, is qualified as an international certified expert. And both of them said those are bites and scratches by an untrained canine. No doubt about it. No other way can you explain that, period. And these people have testified in hundreds, if not thousands, of court cases where dogs they trained through another department in East Overshoe bit somebody, and they brought these dog trainers in to talk about their training and how they train the dog, and single bite, latch on. They don't bite several times. They latch on once. I mean, it was cut and dry. These guys said, absolutely. And one of them wasn't even familiar with the case. I said, what does this arm look like? 100% untrained, nasty dog. And the other comment I'd make is if it was something under the undercarriage theory, Sean knows, and I think anybody knows, nurses know, everybody knows that body would have been mangled. There would have been fractures everywhere, and the snow would have indicated that the body had been dragged. If she was going 62 feet, 6.5 tons, at 24 miles an hour, she didn't stop when she hit him. She would have gone over him and dragged him halfway up the street. It just flies in the face of reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can bring it up on screen real quick. Let me see if I can. I'm like Sean. I always struggle when I have to do this thing.
I mean, it's the most archaic. StreamYard's archaic. It really is.
Yeah.
And Miss Shorty, if you've got, you can, ma'am, you can go ahead and tackle it, and I'll try to get this up on screen within the next 27 minutes.
There we go.
I mean,
28. Take 28 if you need it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Keep the time.
if there's if it wasn't the Lexus and if it wasn't Chloe, then maybe it was Jen McCabe's tooth.
Ooh, God. Yes.
Ouch.
A snaggle too. Oh my God.
Cha-ching.
Miss Shorty.
A shot from Miss Shorty.
Shots fired.
Get
Yeah.
Shorty.
Shots for totally, man. That is you are out of bounds, ma'am. That's awesome. Jen McCabe. Jen McCabe. No, I don't know if I'll be able to get it up on screen. I want to keep the flow going, but
Sure.
to me, I don't know, Pete. I think you're being unreasonable. It looks like a taillight hit that arm. I'm
Of
kidding.
course.
So anyway,
Why wouldn't it be a taillight? I mean, come on.
all right. In lieu of my question, Romy had one. Romy was absolutely blessed us with a gigantic $49.99 thing here. So let me bring this one up. We'll get to the rest of them before the end, but here it is. Okay. Romy. Is it Romy and Michelle's wedding? I can't remember. Anyway, Kim. So question about JOK clothes. Why weren't his clothes put in a biohazard bag and sealed instead of drying them out? See, I try to add the accent in there. Is it typical to dry evidence items out before bagging them? It's something that always struck me as odd. Beginning with Special Agent McDonough, please.
Okay, so, we always bagged all the blood items, from whatever evidence we collected. Now drying it is fine as long as the bag, as long as the evidence was preserved in the proper way, it's going to dry naturally. That's why we use bags, because it's, they're porous, right? They're not in a a plastic container, right? So you put it in a bag, like even for like rape kits, right? You put the hate to say, you put the underwear in, even the guy's underwear or the bed sheets, whatever. You put them in bags. You preserve everything. The fact that listen, I guarantee if the defense asked what was the drying I guarantee is somewhere in between the evidence room and the coffee machine. I guarantee there was no one preserving that evidence. And God knows how many people had access to that evidence, how many people could have touched that evidence. And there was just, listen, they never thought they had to be accountable. And we got to make them accountable. Yes, you use bags, but that's a great question. Use bags, anything that allows the drying process naturally, okay?
A Stop and Shop bag would have worked.
I know. That's what they use. I've heard the FBI where I live. That's what they use. Is they also will use Walmart bags if Stop and Shop isn't available.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but they'll Stop and Shop is the preferred.
Publix.
Yes.
They use Publix down here.
All right, Sergeant. I know Publix is a bonus. Sergeant Peter Murphy. This question goes to you as well. Would they have dried, in your opinion, would they have dried those clothing out before they put them and bagged them? Is what Romy's asking. Thank you so much, Romy. I really appreciate you.
I'll echo what Sean said, that it's conceivable or reasonable to conclude that if they had a secure evidence room, that they could have spread the clothing out and locked the door so that nobody else had access or walked by it. If it was in a pristine, uncompromised setting, drying it out necessarily wouldn't have been a bad thing. I mean, depending on how much moisture there was in it, they train you to put evidence that could be damp or laden with DNA or blood or something into a paper bag. They obviously encourage you not to put it in a plastic bag because that creates problems if you seal it. And as Sean said, if you leave it in a bag, it'll eventually dry itself out. I don't think it's contraindicated to put clothing on some sort of a pristine setting, but you've got to make sure that the item you place it on, whether it's a hospital wrap that's been sanitized and nobody's touched it or whatever, you can't just throw it on a banquet table and say, we'll be back in a couple of days. Let's go get coffee.
Yeah, I was going to say, Proctor, you might have been, you know what? Let's just throw it in the dryer. Put some dryer sheets in there. That shouldn't damage anything. So anyway, sorry. All right, so now we are done with the round table. Thank you, Romy, for that incredible blessing. The rest of the super chats all will be read, but now it's time for the free for all. So go ahead, homies, man. Throw it away one to the other. No more organization.
Okay.
Yikes.
Nurse Kim, why don't you start us off? Free for all.
No pressure, Kim.
Look at all the solo
Free for
cups.
all. Let's.
Look at those.
I don't even know. Let's hit these solo cups, everyone, and. No, I'm putting it to Peter Murphy. Mr. Murphy, can you please start us off with the chaos?
Please call me Peter. You make me feel I don't know, overrated with the Mr. part. In 35 years on the job, I was called a lot worse than Mr. So please just call me Peter.
Okay, Peter.
But what's the question you're tossing at me, please?
I mean, I'll throw one at him. She wanted you to start us off. I'll throw one at you, Peter. Something very, very significant that happened was the what the sort of testimony that you collected from Officer Wanless about removing the taillight, which never made it to trial. Do you think that? And I asked this of Sean yesterday in a phone conversation, but do you think that you could be called to testify to that fact?
I was surprised I wasn't on the first round, actually. I've also got information. I don't know if the person's willing to come forward, that they had conversation with Officer Wanless after I did, and that it was confirmed that when he removed the taillight, the comment was made by him to this person, who I would consider pretty solid. There was just a crack in a single crack in the taillight, and a piece had imploded inside of the assembly.
Oh, so you mean it didn't produce jagged from hitting O'Keefe's car? It didn't produce like jagged shards of taillight that would have cut up somebody's arm?
Apparently not. I think
this is shocking.
Sean's got the physics down. When that car made contact with the traverse, that polycarbonate, I would say, would have bowed somewhat, but depending on the proximity and how far the force of gravity got into the other force or the other vehicle, it sounds to me like it bowed. And the eyewitness that was told from the gentleman, Officer Wanless, that there was a crack in that. Actually, the comment that was made to me was she backed into something heavy and solid, meaning not soft tissue.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I would have thought like you'd see like jagged pieces of polycarbonate that could have looked like dog scratches and bites on someone's arm.
Well,
so I'm really surprised.
The 21 Lexus has a recall on biting taillights. You'll have to bring your Lexus back in.
We got to have Karen call Lexus and
Right.
get that, because we got to get the car in. We got to get it out of Canton, out of the Sally Port. Where
Karen's brother works for Lexus. Did you know that? Fun fact.
What, your brother does?
Karen's brother.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God, we got to get him to. Yeah, but they're going to be like, oh, he's an interested party. You know, he's biased, so we can't use him. All right. Let's go with some super chat. If anybody, first of all, Sean had some breaking news that he announced backstage. Did you want to reiterate that for the audience, Sean? Please go ahead, sir.
So for some of the people, I think there's a few little roamers here, like Joe Biffy.
MoFos?
MoFos. Oh, we're all good MoFos, but Joe and this other guy, I don't know who they're trying to bounce out of here. But for those who think that the FBI are done, they're not done. I had word today. I'm going to triple verify it. Right, coming off the streets of Boston today from a very reliable source, the FBI, in fact, has seized the tools that were directly used in the demolition of the basement at 34 Fairview. I don't have.
Sorry, I just had to add that in there.
I don't have any more details other than that. However, I do have another source that's going to get other information on it. But yeah, that's very encouraging. And I'm telling you, they're not off this case. It's a huge, huge case. And it's just not only John, it's Birch, it's a lot of different things. It's all public corruption. And we now know that the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice is heavily involved. And that means one thing. For Karen Reed, those 3,074 pages contain exculpatory evidence that they withheld from her. That's all civil rights violations. And that's going to be a heavy toe to encounter for these people. And I can tell you right now, from a couple of people I've known, but on the hit list for the DOJ Civil Rights Division, you don't want to be under their scope. That's all I got to say.
Can I get an amen?
You got it.
Yes. All right. We're all going to read super chats, beginning with Mark Mazza Media and going counterclockwise, because look at us, rebels that we are. There we go.
All right, the Pilgrim Shadow. Very familiar with that name. Hope you're doing well. Good evening. My K9 is patrolling the perimeter for any McAlberts or McCabe's that are lurking. Eyes in the sky, paws on the ground. I think we read that one earlier.
Oh, we did that.
Oh, yeah, maybe we did. I'm sorry. Okay.
I'll take another.
Forgive me. All right, this one. Well, no, this one's going to Miss Shorty right here. Can you say this one?
Okay.
Mazza the man. Yes.
All right.
Amen. From Caveman. Thank you, Caveman.
All right. This one is going to none other than one of the big major mofos, Peter Murphy.
Uh-oh. Amazing group of mofos. Thanks from everybody on that one.
All right, Nurse Kim.
John Como, hi, Miss Shorty.
Woo!
Our guy,
Heart
John.
emoji.
Keep your shirt on, John. No, take it off.
Caveman, 1999. Thank you, Caveman. This is going to be a great show. A lot of love.
A lot of love to you. Thank you for supporting these roundtables and for showing up. We love everyone, whether you have the bandwidth or not. We love every one of you for showing up, and we really, really do appreciate it. You don't have to contribute anything. We're just happy that you're here. If you got the bandwidth, great. If you don't, we love you. All right. Okay. Okay. Hey, all. Love to all and nice to meet you, DJ. Happy Saturday. And this is from, I might need my glasses on this. Glamour Suze. All right, there you go. All right, Kim's getting in the spirit now. I'm going to let Sean run away with this damn thing. All right, Mazza Media.
Stacy Face Travels, $9.99 super chat. If you can't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Free Karen Reed. Absolutely.
Thank you, homegirl. All right, next. This one is just great panel from. She's always. Please pass the Peppa.
Peppa.
Thank you. This one is for our friend Miss Shorty.
Oh, again, Caveman with $4.99. Thank you. The only problem if they would have took her at 6:04, then there was no tail light. They need to plant it after they got the car from Dighton, Nick Barris. Yes.
Caveman is just doing it. So, Sergeant Murphy.
Caveman again. Who mixes Jameson with ginger ale? Higgins a loser. Sean spring on Fat Brian Albert. Jen McCabe is the a loser, and Colin is a punk. That covers a lot. That covers a lot of the players, I guess.
True statements, one and all. Okay, man. Thank you for those insights.
The right answer is D. All of the above.
That's right. All of the above. Thank you. Oh, man, with all the security training I did today, I lost even more hair for my new job. Okay. All right. Kim, this one's for you.
Okay. I Gotta Know gave $2 and said, awesome group of true crime alive and in chat. Yes.
Thank you. There is some total G's. Thank you to everybody in chat. Thank you, Jules, for doing what you be doing. This one is for none other than a guy who appears to be making hay today while the sun is shining. Sean McDonough.
LT33, $5. Thank you, LT. Underrated testimony. Lieutenant Harrod testified. CERT team search ended when Lieutenant Tully was convinced they had found everything they were going to find.
Yes.
LT33, that is a absolutely incredible find right there. Beautiful LT.
Thank you, LT. I appreciate that. You may be a law enforcement officer yourself, and thank you so much if you are for what you're doing. This one goes to Mark Mazza Media, who's about to go ape on let's see, Cash App and Venmo. You better take those people off his damn name. There's only one Mazza Media. Recognize.
Right.
Go ahead.
That's right. Exactly. Thank you, DJ. I appreciate it. This super chat is from Trevor Maverick, $4.99. Everyone assumes a pic of taillight wasn't ever taken, but what if one was taken and later discarded because they knew it wouldn't cut it?
Anybody
true.
on the panel
Very
for that
good.
one?
Yeah.
Very good. That's awesome.
That's great.
Yep. We've said during other panels that everything that was organic is basically that just is favoring Karen Reed, and everything that is everything that's exculpatory and everything that it seems that points against her had to be manufactured and synthetic, man-made in one way or the other. So, and maybe in Helena Rafferty's case, woman-made for all I know. Okay. This is from, I want to say this in my New York accent. Hey, Glera. How you doing, Glera? I like your show. That's what I want to say. So thank you so much, Glera. I do watch you. I really dig your show, and I would also like to have you on one of these panels because we got to do something for Sandra Birchmore. Peter and I spent a significant amount of time the other day talking about Mizzy coming up and Sandra Birchmore, and we have to do a roundtable for Sandra Birchmore because most of the oxygen in the room is being consumed by Karen Reed, but Sandra Birchmore is an even more aggrieved party, if you will, than is Karen Reed. And I know you guys are covering it on your shows, but we just need more. You know, we just need more, right? Even though the FBI may have gotten on to Karen Reed from Sandra Birchmore. Okay, Caveman, you are such a blessing. I can't thank you enough. This one goes to, who's the next one to read? Is it Miss Shorty? Yes,
Yes. Yeah, my glasses. I need to get new glasses. Okay, Caveman again, an always giver. $4.99. Thank you.
Yes.
Question: why would Jen McAlbert call John's phone 7 times within 20 minutes? Only one reason. No one can think of looking for his phone after they beat him. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay. It looks like the panel are
No
nodding
doubt.
their heads in agreement on that. This is just a yes, ma'am.
I
No?
just said 100%. Why? They weren't butt dials.
No, oh no. I mean, wasn't there a butt dial conversation with Higgins and Albert? So it is possible to butt dial, answer, and then butt dial, hang up, and have a conversation while Brian Albert is drunk and having. Well, I don't want to go any further on that one. It can get a little grody. Thank you, Happy Pup Mama, because we got Mike isn't here. The dog father. I'm going to send him pictures of my dogs because I'm such a fan, and I also have 3 cats. So. Me and Maz are cool like that, man. So my 3 are the Tiger, the Bobcat, and the Black Panther. So those aren't their names, but those are their nicknames. All right, reality check. Who wants to? I think she's trying to connect with Nurse Kim or Miss Shorty. I can't remember. Who's reading this one? I don't remember.
I'm going. Yes, it's me. And a reality check. $4.99. Nurse Kim, I saw your invitation, and I would like to chat with you when you're in South Carolina. Reach out to me on there. I will. Okay. I'm be gone for a week. So yes.
And if we're staying with the proper accent, it's South Carolina, right? Isn't there an R in the end?
True.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sean. This one is I picked out. Would you read this one from Lisa Lee?
I will. Lisa Lee. Just the fact Chloe lived on a property for 7 years, his DNA was all over that yard. So why done on John putting the bites to the side?
Man, I mean, if you're not investigating the house, right, then nothing is collected. There's nothing collected from the premises other than what would be indicative of the culprit being Karen Reed, and anything that could have been exculpatory. Don't want to see blah 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 blah. We don't want to talk to the plow driver. Don't want to know who he is, even though apparently Jackson's Unetti's private investigator found that guy. So anything exculpatory, we don't. Sorry, we're not interested. This one, okay, we already did that one. Okay, this one goes to me, and it is Leah Baker. It's always semantics with this crew, never taking Chloe. Maybe it was Caitlin. Tristan got legal advice from family. I think we covered that one way earlier, so forgive me, but the panel who's more knowledgeable on these aspects weighed in on that, Leah. I hope that was satiating for you. And this one is from Ask Bob. This one goes to my man, Mark Mazza Media.
All right. Ask Bob asks, question for Sean. I already asked Mazza, do you think those mofos, Berkowitz and Rafferty, will ever face justice? They seem to be Teflon under any radar.
I think
Mofos.
one or both of them will. That's what I think. I don't see how Berkowitz can't. Maybe Helena. All depends on those wiretaps, but definitely Berkowitz.
Wow. There you go. That's pretty strong. Miss Shorty, I think we finally have one for you that isn't Caveman. And thank you, Caveman, for being so awesome that we did call your name a bunch of times.
Yes, $5 from Glamour Suze. Hey, Suze. No one has made a claim against any of Karen's insurance policies because insurance companies investigate thoroughly. There is a good reason why.
That is a great point.
Yeah.
That is a great point. They're not paying out any money. Yes, ma'am, please.
In the jurors that Aidan interviewed with the juror, and they assumed that Arca that juror said that they assumed that Arca was called by the insurance companies, by Karen's insurance company. It was that the ambiguity was so strong there that was what the inference they drew, which was obviously wrong, but it's an interesting one.
Well, first of all, they would have paid out less money on a claim than they would have paid Arca, so that would be pretty dumb on their part. Anyway, all right. Let's see. Just have a few more left. This goes to Peter Murphy.
Okay, I can only see parts of this. So if there's a money issue there, I'm going to be remiss. Okay, thank you for that. I gotta know. Can K.O. Drive leave town? Is she held in mass?
I think she means KR. Yeah,
I think she means KR. Right.
Yes.
I don't know what her restrictions are right now. I think she has to either notify somebody or she may be restricted to stay in Massachusetts. I don't know that.
She can't drive.
That can't
I
drive.
thought that she could go. Excuse me. I'm so sorry, guys.
Bless you.
Peppa. Okay.
How do you spell that? P-E-P-P-A, right? Peppa.
She's a little Peppa Pig. Yes.
She's making a comeback.
Yeah, she's trying. She's trying. Rally the troops, babe. So I was under the impression, don't quote me though, is that clearly, as Mr. McDonough said, that she does not have her license currently, but that she could go, to Florida or any, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that she has a restriction to Massachusetts.
Interesting. That's interesting. But she doesn't have her license and she doesn't have her car and she doesn't have a job, which is what is so debilitating for her and what's so absurd. This one goes to Nurse Kim.
Standing Stone, 1776. I love it. Do you think Chief Rafferty came in Sallyport when Kite was breaking? That's why she did a 360. When light was breaking, that's why she did a 360
with the broom.
Good question.
We got it on video.
The only thing I would say is why would they have Wanless remove the taillight if they were going to break it when it was on the car?
Well, I'll take that. All right. So what Wanless did, Wanless came several days later. Okay. What Wanless did was not a problem. Not at all. They had every reason to take that taillight, okay, because it was processed. What the problem, like Peter knows, the problem about what Wanless did was the fact that he did not exist on any report by the state police. And when you touch evidence, that's why I keep my hands behind my back. You'll get this. You'll understand this, DJ. You know those red envelopes that have classified documents. I put
God,
my
I'm
hands right behind my
studying
back.
it all
I ain't
day
touching
long.
shit, buddy. I'm not touching any of that stuff. Same with evidence. You touch that evidence, you have to be responsible for that evidence. You're going to be on a chain of custody. And he was not on the chain of custody. And that was the issue that Peter and I, so were they trying to hide the ball? And as it turns out, it was a nothing burger for anyone because it didn't matter. Listen, Karen Reed put on 6 witnesses, only 6, and they still couldn't convict her. He could have taken off 1,000 taillights. It didn't matter to them. So, but in the early parts of this investigation, to us, it was huge because what are they trying to conceal? And that was the thing with Peter was golden on that. But the problem was what he did was no problem. It's what Proctor and those other people did by not including him on the custody of evidence, the chain of custody.
Would you please refer to them as MoFos for the balance of this
Oh, there'd
conversation?
be MoFos all day long. They're all
I'm
MoFos.
better about that myself, DJ. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, brother. We're all in unison on this. Sean, could you read this one?
Yes, J1 Justice, 1999. Thank you, J1
Thank you.
Justice.
Thank you, J1.
Justice for Karen Reed is justice for all of us. That's true. Proctor, Fanning, Buchanan conducted a 30-day investigation into the most egregious shooting. Into the egregious shooting of Justin Root. Norfolk DA and these investigators need to go to jail. And J1 Justice, I guarantee you, some of them are going to go to jail. No doubt about it.
Yeah. I hope so. I really hope so. Again, you really, as a human being, you really don't like to celebrate when something bad happens to another human being.
Right.
But in this case, they are trying to force this woman into jail. And if you don't like her demeanor and you don't like the way that she screams at John O'Keefe in Aruba or in other public places, that's fine. She's, all of us are entitled to our bad moments. I've heard Kim say it. My wife and I have yelled at each other and called each other names, and we love each other, and we would never leave one another. So these things happen, in relationships. It doesn't mean that someone wanted to commit murder. Yes, sir.
Did you guys ever call each other mofos during any of those arguments?
No, but I'm going to teach her that word. My wife is, she's Brazilian. She speaks broken English. I'll teach her the word mofo. And see if she starts.
Please
to
have
call
her
it.
on.
So.
We would like to hear that.
Like to see
Yeah.
how
I
that
love
goes.
that. Katy. She goes, "What are you doing, you stupid guy? I tell you, no parking place, no have sign, no parking." She yelled at me the other day because I got a ticket on base. Anyway, Misadventure. She's a wonderful human being. I love her. Misadventurous Book Mouse. Just realized Chloe texting in Kim's background.
Yeah, she was on the beach early, and now she's back in the car. I mean, she's a traveling girl.
I can't get over
I
that.
love it. I love it. It's a great one.
Oh my God. All right. This one is going to Mark Media. I'm sorry. We're getting through these. We're getting near the end, guys. And if you have to go, I can get everybody out of here and I can read the rest of these. I don't want to keep you. I mean, we have like 12 minutes to reach the 2-hour mark, and I don't want to keep you a second longer. Go ahead, Mark, please.
Sure. Next, super chats from Mystery Singer. Proctor and Kevin Albert being suspended is just the beginning. FBI has a 20-year investigation on Canton and Stoughton's police departments. They will indict the Alberts and Proctor with their 3074 report on Reed and Birchmore. I thought about you, Sean, just as I was reading this. I'm like, yeah.
Absolutely.
Can I tell you where my mind went, Sean? Because I know you're a music guy. Only the beginning. So I was thinking about that song, "Beginnings" from Chicago.
Oh, it's only
Love
the
that song?
beginning.
Only
That's
the
it.
beginning.
I love
That's
that.
only
And
the
you're
beginning.
you're a musician. Are you a musician?
I am. I'm a guitar
awesome.
player. Yeah. Drum
Your
player.
guitar. That is so. We need to have a Karen Reed band. We can get
Sure.
you, Mike. We need a drummer. I mean, I can. Oh yes,
Put me on
Miss Shorty?
cowbell, baby.
And Miss Shorty, are you a musician as well?
I can sing.
Oh, we need a singer.
Awesome,
We need a
awesome.
singer.
I can play the drums, not all that well. Peter, are
Yeah.
you playing any instruments?
No, I could be the conductor. I think what possibly we could consider is either when this comes to the end, we could bring everybody that's in the round table and some of the other people that you would want to bring in, and we could see if we could, audition or do a live show at either the
Yes.
waterfall or the hillside.
Yes.
That would be perfect.
We're the band. Finally, we'll know what the band was. It was us.
There you go. See?
The FKR band, we will be holding live auditions. We need a drummer. We need a bass player, and we could have, because I think Mike plays guitar. Mazza, are you playing any instruments?
I can sing a little bit. That's about it. Maybe be a bodyguard or a bouncer. Yeah.
Oh, what a baritone you are.
Can you
I mean,
Yep.
of house. You can do the lighting and the sound from the front of house.
Yeah,
F-
right.
Mazza has he has a
FOH,
big
buddy, FOH.
he has a big media voice, man. He should be on like
Oh,
major
Mazza.
media, man.
Incredible.
What an
Thank you.
amazing
Appreciate
voice.
that. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Ah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Maybe at
I
some
could
point
actually
in the future,
sound.
we'll see.
Oh
Mazza's
yes.
Mazza's our voice daddy. When we in
That's right,
Mazza's
yeah.
chat, I always put his voice daddy.
Okay. Could you read this one, Miss Shorty?
Is that not the same one as the last one? I feel like it is,
Oh.
or it's not.
It is.
It's
Same one,
not. It is the same one. Okay, let me go to the next one.
Okay, so J1 Justice, I can't see the dollars there either. Is that just a question? Norfolk
It's-
DA. Yes, okay. So Norfolk DA hung Justin's bloody clothes on hangers. When Fanning was asked why Root's shirt was not that bloody, he responded that it could have been dry cleaned. Say what?
I don't know the Justin Root case, so you'll have to forgive me on that. I'm not smarter than that. I don't know if anybody is. But
I
Yes,
got
sir.
into this. You
Yeah,
want to hear
please.
it real quick?
Yeah.
It'll take
Yeah,
5
yeah.
minutes, right? Justin, he was living in Mattapan, my old little stomping grounds, and he had some mental health issues. So he ended up going downtown Boston to a Jesus, look at Tom Fleming's in the house. He went to a hospital downtown Boston, and he had gotten into a little skirmish with the guards. Someone said he had a gun. Well, he had a plastic gun, a toy gun, a BB gun, and there was a shootout. The cops shot at him and missed him, hit another cop. He get into a car. There was a high-speed chase and went into Brookline. He crashed, gets out of the car. And the end of the story is he got blasted, I feel awful, 32 to 33 times. Yeah.
and just for having the toy gun, is that essentially what it is?
Like I say, I mean, they were very Robin Bailey, Mattapan, St. Angeles. They were very. Listen, I heard the radio dispatch. Shots fired, police officer down, man down. So that gets everyone high strung, high charge. And then, right before the cops got on the scene, there was a first responder, like nurse or doctor, or maybe an off-duty police officer that came to his aid because he got out of the car and he stumbled. I saw the whole thing. I've been really looking at this, and it's under the DA. Okay, the problem is when you have a big chase like that and it's pumped up, one guy fires. I hate to say it, you know how it goes, and I think there was some crossfire, but he clearly didn't shoot anyone because he had an inoperable gun. So sad, very sad case. And like I said, now on the contrary, one quick thing, we had a DEA agent in Miami, and he shot many times at these bad guys, right? So he was on the stand, and one of the defense attorneys goes, Agent White, why did you shoot my client 22 times? He says, because I ran out of bullets.
Oh,
Wow.
God.
Yeah.
I mean, if he had
that's-
more bullets, he would have shot more because he was under fire himself. So, anyways,
like
I don't
those two
think people
dudes.
got that. It must be too late. He says because
No.
I ran out of bullets. Come
I-
on, Peter.
no,
Give
I-
me-
I got that.
I totally got that, man. I totally got that. I've heard that.
But in this
I heard
thing,
that a number
we
of
had
times.
several officers. It's just it's a tough case. It is a tough case. I feel bad for the Root family, but I'd like to do a deeper dive on it. I really would.
And thank you for bringing that up because we'd
Yeah.
be happy to, if Sean's happy to tackle it. I think there's several other of us that are also happy to tackle it. And by the way, I think the next one on this panel that's probably going to go to law school is probably going to be Nurse Kim. Anyway, where's the blood?
Great. Well,
Both Peter, 3 liters of blood. Where is it?
yeah. Well, guess what? God knows what they found downstairs in the basement.
Yeah. A whole bunch. Yeah, I pray that they did. I pray that someone found a little bit of John's blood down there, and then the case is over. So Lally, first of all, Gina G, thank you so much for the $5. Lally lost a 2017 trial of Yang Long Chow, and Bev was the presiding judge.
Wow.
Is anyone familiar with that case?
No.
Okay. Not it is surprising, but I find some bias there. Janelle Grace, the all-star panel needs to happen. No, once a week we can't do this. It's too much bandwidth and too much energy, but we will do another one. And the next one is going to be Sandra Birchmore for sure. And I've talked to Mizzy and I need to make that happen.
I would try to get Dave on that show too. DJ, if you can, Dave Cullinane.
I would love to. Yeah.
He produced the Case season 2 from Barstool Sports on Sandra. And,
that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Yeah. Okay. So I will coordinate with you for Dave. I know Peter's going to be on it, and Missy's going to be on it. And I just want to get she's amazing. When this girl speaks about Sandra Birchmore, to me, as somebody who considers himself a little bit of an empath, she's fighting back tears every single time she talks about that case. She's fighting back real tears over the loss of that girl and her baby. And that should strike all of you. What a wonderful human being she is. And Peter shared some other things with me that even gives me additional respect for Mizzy.
Right. Just as a point of info, too, she's got a standout organized tomorrow from, I want to say, 2 to 5, perhaps, in Canton.
So there'll be
Sandra?
For Sandra, yes, in front of the Canton Town Hall. And as I think it's been mentioned to this group, and I think we are aware of it, at least this circle, both cases, and I think Sean's commented on both cases are joined at the hip as far as a lot of the investigators and obviously the DA's office, the troopers. Both decedents were in the town of Canton, so tomorrow's going to be a pretty significant day. And Mizzy travels long distance to make these standouts for herself.
Thank you, Mizzy, for all you do.
Comment? Can I make a comment real quick?
Please, sir.
I just want to tell Tom Fleming I'm taking my plane up to Pensacola tomorrow. If you'd like to meet me, I could fly up and pick you up. You want to meet in Pensacola, Tom?
What are we doing?
It's a private joke. That's all. Private joke.
I love it.
All right, Tommy boy.
Yes. Ironically, there were no taillight pieces found in solo cups. I mean, you would have thought the backpack blower would have blown them all the way over to Kelleher's lawn. So I don't know what the hell happened, but I would always think that police officers would go to a scene with a backpack blower because certainly none of the evidence would be disturbed by that. I don't think.
No.
So, I didn't go to detective school, but all right, there's only one person on this panel qualified to read this one right here, and it is, of course, Nurse Kim.
Oh, Mindy gives $4.99. Thank you so much, Mindy. Can we get a Jennifer McCabe from our smart and pretty best friend from out of town? I love your face, Mindy.
Nice.
All right, this one right here. Thank you very much, Jenna Caswell Hall. Great panel. Karen is factually innocent, and you know that. Last couple here. Kelly Reed in the house. Woo!
Kelly.
This is going to Mark.
And in love, Kelly.
All right, let's go to Sean on this one.
Kelly Reed, $4.99. Hi, everyone. Great show, great panel. Justice is coming.
Amen.
Free Karen Reed.
Good to meet you, Miss Kelly Reed. I've never had you in our chat before, and it's an honor that you're here, and we're hoping that we can find justice for your sister. This one right here to Mazza.
All right. Paul Cristoforo. Never heard of him before. Never heard of him. I don't know who this guy is, but great panel. I love you guys. International Standout Labor Day. Check the sites for check the site for details. That's freekarenreedstandouts.com. Again, freekarenreedstandouts.com. Also, I should note, just check that list there's a tab right at the top right. It says standout list. Click on that. You can find out all the local standouts that are occurring tomorrow and in the future as well. They're updating that website frequently here. So it's going to be great. Paul is a great man, and he's been working tirelessly with the media, a lot of media relations he's done, contacting the news outlets, letting them know about our standouts, letting them know about what we're doing as a large group of supporters of Karen Reed. So hats off to Paul. You're the man. Kelly Reed, shout out to you as well. All right.
Amen.
Hey, Paul, can I get it? Can I get an amen there, Paisan? All right, this one.
Before we move on, can I just say with regards to standouts, because we have 2,000 people in the chat here, I'm actually, myself and a couple of other Aussies are organising a nationwide Free Karen Reed standout on Sunday, September the 1st, so next Sunday. There's one already in Melbourne. At 10 a.m. already organised. That's me. There's a Hobart standout, which is in Tasmania, the capital city of Tasmania. 10 a.m. also. The details for meeting points for both are on that standout website, so have a look. But if there's anybody in Australia who lives in any of the other capital cities that are here now in the chat, or replay crew, love you. Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide, Canberra. We love to make this a nationwide thing at the same time, Sunday the 1st of September, 10 a.m. Easy peasy. I've got my paints and cardboard ready to make my signs later after this live has ended, signs. And I just think we should really, we're all here watching. Australians are very much invested in this case and in Karen Reed's innocence and in, shining a light on the corruption. Australians hate corruption and they always go for the underdog. So if anybody would like to be a representative in their capital city or come along to either of the existing standouts next Sunday, 10 a.m., DM me on Twitter or email me. My email is on my channel. So I just wanted to say that.
And I'll put. And by the way, everybody that you see appearing today, yes, Miss Shorty. Everybody that's here on the channel, their stuff will be in my show notes. So if you go to the show notes for this episode later tonight, it'll have, and every content creator, when you have someone on your show, put their damn stuff in the show notes. Don't let me go search for Mizzy. I should be able to find her in your show notes if she don't spend an hour with you. Anyway, Mazza, I know you're inspired by what you just heard because just to your left, you've seen someone who is as passionate about this as you are. So
yeah, absolutely. Miss Shorty's done an awesome job, and it's so awesome to just not only see how this following of Karen and supporting Karen evolved outside of the state, across the state of Massachusetts, across the Northeast, across the country, and then internationally when we found out that we not only had a big Karen Reed contingent in the UK, but also down in Australia, which is one of the most beautiful countries on earth that I've never been to. But Australia, we love you guys, and Miss Shorty, you've just done an awesome job. You've been fantastic, and just a special acknowledgement to you for all you've done. We love you.
Can I hijack it, because I've got another.
Please, ma'am.
So when the popcorn, when raising funds for Karen's Defence Fund, which has been an ongoing, amazing thing that has been happening, and people have been donating to Karen's Defence Fund, sending Venmos to her. Then when the whole popcorn thing got shut down, I know it's been reinstated now, but I had this thought that that I wanted to be able to do something. It was before the standouts were being organised. I wanted to do something from over here in Australia, and so I had designed a free Karen Reed like a graphic, and so I made I printed off 200 stickers. Can you see that?
Beautiful.
Yeah. There's only 200 of them, free Karen Reed bumper stickers. I bought pink envelopes and pink thank you cards, and they've now been mostly all shipped to some helpers in the US so they can post them internally. So it's a fundraiser for Karen. So if anybody would like one of these Miss Shorty custom stickers, limited edition, if you make a donation to Karen's Defence Fund, I'm not touching the money. There's nothing dodgy about this. If you were to send a donation, $10 plus will get you one sticker. $50 plus get you 2. $100 plus get you 3. 1 entry per person. And then if you screenshot your donation, and again, email it to me, DM me on Twitter with your postal address, that will be sent out immediately. So get on it. Like I'm over here from down under trying to do my little thing, and it would be really amazing if people could get on board. And it's a pretty cool thing, really high quality, custom designed. That.
I'll
Let's do
take
it.
2, Miss Shorty, and I'll send you my screenshot for my donation tonight.
I love your face,
All
Kim.
right.
I'm all over it like gravy on rice. Thank you,
Uh-oh.
Miss Shorty. I'm in for one. This lady right here wanted to hear me pronounce her name because obviously last time, Sarah, I pronounced it incorrectly without the Massachusetts accent. So it's Sarah in shock and horror. So tell me later on, Sarah, if I got that correct. Sarah in shock and horror.
No, DJ.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Sarah.
Sarah.
You know, Sarah.
Sarah.
Yeah.
No R's. Hey, Sarah.
I blew it.
Sarah.
I blew it.
Shock and horror. Shock and horror.
I blew it, Sarah. A shock and horror. I blew it, but I am in training after all. I'm a trainee of Nurse Kim and Sean. I am not at that expert level.
Asshole in training, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you when I went to Dean College, I could do the accent pretty well because I was listening to my teammates every single day. But anyway, so who drove the Ford Edge? I don't think. And does anybody have anything for who drove the Ford Edge?
Yes, I do. It was Chloe the dog on her way to Vermont.
It's so difficult.
Right here, the Edge. I'm driving the Edge, babe. Look, I'm in it right now.
There's so many Ford Edges. You can have a Monopoly game on that, right, Peter?
Yeah, you could, Sean, but I think there's some information out there which I'm not going to touch right now, but I think you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
come on, Peter, give it
Stop
up.
it.
Come on,
Stop
spill
it.
the tea, buddy. Spill
Stop
the tea.
it.
Come on.
No, he's got his sauces. This one is for Sean.
You know, Dina Bellina. I love it. Dina Bellina. Steve Scalin has always been the strongest piece of evidence to me. Me too. Because I really believe if it wasn't for Steve Scalin and that little darling he holds close to his heart, he risked it all by spilling the tea against his old buddy, Brian Albert. Let me tell you, that's how it went. And then you had Tom Beatty on the other end coming in with Aaron, and that's how this thing got teed up. I'm going to tell you, Tommy Fleming can deny it all he wants, but this is how it all went down.
Yeah, unfortunately, the critical thinking piece, the common sense piece, just is not happening. This one, Nurse Kim.
Sure. Nikki Mix7 gave $10. Thank you so much, Lovey. When looking for someone, the logical thing is to call the local. I don't know. Call the local you last witnessed him. Who last witnessed him? Jen M never calls the Alberts house to ask if John arrived later or ask them to look outside. Thoughts?
Awesome. Great
point.
Great point.
Yeah.
Of
I
course,
mean,
Jen's not going to call.
She said she called though.
Because Jen
Julie
knew.
and Chris.
Jen knew.
Right?
Jen knew.
Yeah.
Thank you, JD Gossa. Great panel. Nurse Kim, the corrupt 5150. I hope they're not referring to Van Halen.
Hey.
Okay.
Mr. Monk's understudy. You. So the 5150 is a
Thank
section
you.
12 in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Right.
And let me let you know that I have reached out to the one and only David Yannetti. And I would really like to go through the Good Sam. I want to see the medical records. I know it's like probably not necessary, but I am a legal nurse consultant. And the way that this was conducted, the physician, the ER doc, right, Justin, should be ashamed of himself because he not only took care of Officer John O'Keefe, but he also took care of Karen Reed. Now, what he didn't even remember, okay? He had no idea. His documentation was so lackluster. When I tell you that I clutched my proverbial pearls, my friends, upon his testimony, I'm watching, I'm looking, and I'm saying he's going to get it together because I have a lot of respect for emergency room physicians. And it never came. And my problem is this: how Karen's labs were obtained, guys. That's sus, in my opinion. She was sectioned by, she was medically sent to the hospital due to a risk for herself and others. There was a determination made by the hospital to collect labs for a tox screen, right? But that was never requested by the police. So, babes, let's write a motion. Let's do some shit, because I think that we have an argument that not only was this not collected by Mass State Police in a normal OUI charge, how in the Christ are you saying that her compromised medical condition on the morning of January 29th, 2022 is used against her? I feel like there's HIPAA violations there. I understand that. I know that David Yannetti, I know that Alan Jackson have looked through all of this, but let me see the records, because if I can see what the nurses wrote, there may be something there.
Well, if anybody can be of help with that, like if you haven't heard from Yannetti, then maybe Sean and Peter could. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being serious. If they can help out to maybe get something for you to look at, maybe that would help. Who knows? So,
I'm just a guy in Naples.
Yeah, Sean on the Gulf. This one is for you right here, Sean.
When's the MoFo merch coming out? Listen,
Thank you.
I'm
Give me
just
a
trying
break,
to get back into the grind here. Someone did reach out to me, Mary Lochran. Yes, she did, Mary, and we're going to work on something. That's true.
I'm down for a MoFo shirt. I'm down for a bumper sticker. Just want to get that out there.
Oh, I got to tell you, I thank Olivia Nile for this shirt, or maybe it's the other shirt. It's either Olivia or our other, he will not be named, partner that I have with Olivia. That's a whole other story. Oh yeah,
and
we have it's called in my little phone the OG Dream Team. Me, Olivia, and a name to be kept very, very confidential.
Well,
none of us here are
Sean,
class.
It's just me and you. Let's talk.
Yeah, you have a lot of sources there, young lady.
I'm not cleared up to that level to know. But Sean, since you're, what's the name of the David Letterman show band leader? It's Paul something. What's his name?
Yeah, he looks like you.
Yeah,
That's what I was going to say. You look like him, DJ.
I don't have that. Come on, I'm not growing my hair on the sides.
Oh, God.
But
yeah, Paul. He's great too.
Paul Schaefer.
Paul Schaefer. That's right.
Okay, because Midnight Moon wants to know, since you're the Paul Schaefer of the Free Karen Reed band, can he play trombone? Would you be willing to have brass?
I would listen. I'll tell you a quick story, real quick. I was in a rock and roll band in high school, and I said to my guys, "We need a brass section." And they said, "Fuck you." And I'm sorry,
Sean. What are you doing?
And
This is a family show. Family show.
I wanted Tower
Children are
of
watching,
Power.
Sean.
I wanted to do Tower of Power songs back then. And the band said no. I said, all right, yes, Midnight Moon, trombones, trumpets, the whole 9 yards.
Dude, look at Chicago. Anybody go back, look at that
Come on.
1970 video on YouTube from Tanglewood, I think it was called. It's an incredible live Chicago, and their brass are just ridiculous, man. I
Sorry
think we're
about
coming
that,
down.
DJ.
No, it's okay. It's all right, brother.
I'll take the hit.
It's all good, man.
Let me know.
Thank you so much, Reality Check. I appreciate you down in South Carolina.
Check. Annette, beautiful.
Same thing here. Thank you, Richie, the fence guy. Richie, I mean, are you for the fiber boards as opposed to synthetic fiber as opposed to wood? Because the wood rots. So just if you would let us know about that. Thank you very much, Richie.
DJ, excuse
yes,
me,
sir.
just to interrupt. This Richie the fence guy is a very, very active participant in this Karen Reed movement. Very active.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Richie, the
Richie,
fence guy.
thank you, bro,
Richie.
man.
Oh, let me tell you, that's Richie. Oh, I know who Richie is now. Yes, he is.
Yes.
Richie's a
Richie.
good guy.
Yeah,
Real
Richie's a
good
great
guy.
guy. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richie. And that's a legitimate question about the fence, by the way. Like a Jimmy Fallon style music jam. Hell yeah. All right, last
More
one.
cowbell.
Last one from M. Gaglio.
MJ.
Or MJ Gaglio. Sorry, I don't have me glasses on, Sean.
MJ.
I don't have me glasses on. I can't read it without
No,
me glasses.
He's one of your
Can
countrymen. MJ Gaglio.
Was that pretty good though, Kim? I did a little bit of Irish for you.
I love it.
Right? Okay. All right. The winner of tonight's coolest Massachusetts accent. Would you like to vote on that, or do you guys want me to just pick? Mazza, do you want to make a vote?
It's a pick.
I'm gonna vote for Nurse Kim on this one.
I second.
Okay.
I'm going to vote for DJ. I'm going to vote for DJ.
Miss Shorty, who had the coolest Massachusetts accent tonight?
Nurse
Was
Kim.
it-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nurse Kim.
Oh my
And a
God!
close
Am I the
second
only
to
one
DJ.
going for Sean?
Oh, I love
No,
it.
I want
vote for
to.
Sean.
I want to recap. Where are the hanging chads? All right. So once again, the return winner of coolest Massachusetts accent on Calling All Beings, Nurse Kim. Put your hands together. Wait a minute. Here we go. There we go. All right, Nurse Kim. Thank you, homegirl. We appreciate you. And I want to wait. There we go. I was able to stop it. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank everybody in the chat, Julie, and we got a couple of, I don't know how many message comments we had here. I mean, we had, was it almost 1,200 comments
Tons.
there?
Tons.
Yeah,
Wow.
and 2,500 people watching.
Look at that.
Thank you so much, Mazza Media. It was an honor to meet you and have you join, and I can't wait to speak with you again one-on-one. Also, Nurse Kim as well. I'm going to get you because we talked about doing a one-on-one with you and let you just go hog wild up and just take over the joint. Miss Shorty, thank you for all you're doing. I know Mazza was inspired sitting next to you, and I'm inspired as well, and I'm buying one of your bumper stickers. All right?
As am I.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Shorty. Though you are a voice that we all appreciate so much. Your memory, your activism, and your love for Karen, for her family, also for Officer John O'Keefe and the community is so commendable, and we just love your face.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh.
We love you, John O'Keefe. We haven't forgotten you, bro, man. We're going to get there. So don't you worry. Don't you worry, brother. We haven't forgot you. Peter Murphy, thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Glad to be here, and it was a great round table. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, bro, man. Nurse Kim, thank you, homegirl.
Thank you.
All right. She said it so low. Where the hell's the microphone? I couldn't hear you, but no, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. The whisper. It's a whisper.
ASMR. Okay.
Okay. All right. And we'll get Dave Cullinane on as well, man. We'll get him on that round table for Sandra Birchmore. King Mofo.
Thank you, DJ.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you to the panel. It was great meeting you, Miss Shorty, Dave, Mazza, Nurse Kim, Kimmy, Peter, and listen to the chat. I see what you're saying out there. There will be a show coming up for everyone, not just the very elite, but for everyone. I'm going to get that party running. So hang in there. It's been a long day. Long. Lot of intel. Lot of intel. You know those days, DJ. You know when they're coming over the cosmic frontier. You know those days are.
Oh man, I'm glad you guys are getting it, man.
Come
Because
on
it's gonna
now.
keep putting pressure on the dodgeball team led by Psycho Brian Albert. So
Oh,
check
man,
your
easy ever.
check your email. One of the folks from the last show reached out to me, and she sent a really good photo to me and you on email of Brian, and I think it's Marty Kraft. So
Marty.
anyway,
I'm going to check that out.
okay.
Marty.
I'm gonna ET phone home. Bye, guys.
All right, bye
Hey,
everybody. On
hey,
behalf
thank
of
you. Thank you to all
Mazza,
the
Shorty,
chat.
Stay
Thank
well.
you.
peace out. One
Peace
love,
it out.
Good evening.
and
There
we'll
we
see you
go.
down the road.
Uncle Mofo.
Where are we going?